Setting unrealistic goals. This is important. You want to set goals that you can accomplish. Actually, you want to set goals that are challenging, okay, but you can accomplish. And then you want big, hairy, audacious goals. All right? And the big, hairy, audacious goals are the goals that you don't know if you're going to get them, but if you get them, your life is going to be fantastic. It's okay to set those goals. They may be a little bit unrealistic, but the backup to those, we call them bags, big, hairy, audacious goals. The backups are realistic but challenging goals. Okay? So your goals should be realistic and challenging, not pie in the sky. I want to earn $1 million in 1 year. I want to have $10,000 a month cash flow in 5 months. I want 1,000 units in 6 months' time, just starting out. So be realistic with your goals. Because when you're realistic with your goals, okay, number one, you attain them in most cases, and then you go to the next level and set additional realistic goals and attain those, and then next thing you know, you're at the next level setting new realistic goals and you attain those, and then you're way ahead of the game by doing that. Setting unrealistic goals defeats yourself, defeats your mind, and does negative things to yourself. No rally point. What's a rally point? Rally point is something to rally around. It's something to as a group, strive towards. Maybe you have a big, hairy, audacious goal for your group or your team. Like if you're a parent, you have kids, okay, and you want your kids to maybe get involved in the business. Well, maybe you set this big goal that you're going to go on a trip somewhere. Maybe it's Disney World. Maybe it's Hawaii. Maybe it's somewhere really special. But it's something that you can all rally around. And it might not even be a goal. It might just be a story. Like for instance, a couple of years ago, one of my businesses had got hit hard by the recession. And for the first time ever, I had to lay off a lot of people. And I didn't like that. I've been in business for 22 years, never had it happen. But all of a sudden, 1 month, June of 3 years ago, the brakes came on in that business. Never seen anything like it. The phones just stopped ringing. And like, what is going on? And it lasted. It lasted for a few months, and it continued to last until we started structuring new strategies and ideas on how to compete in the marketplace and to get what business was out there. So, and of course, morale was down because of the layoffs. So I created this story of Lawrence of Arabia. Everybody familiar with the story of Lawrence of Arabia? Where basically he was commissioned by the British government to take over this port that was on the Arabic Sea or the Arabic Peninsula. There's this big port, coming down this coast. And the country of Turkey actually has control of the port. And the port is full of all kinds of riches, right? And the British government wants it. So they commissioned Lawrence of Arabia to come in here and take over the port. And Lawrence of Arabia says, that's crazy. How am I going to do that? Number one, they got all their guns positioned to the sea, so we can't take it from the sea. Says number two, you got this big desert behind there, and there's no way you can have a march through the back of the desert to get there because the people will starve or, they'll die of thirst. And to boot, there's like 14 nomadic tribes, and they all hate each other. So I can't even get people to back me. So he thought, he devised a plan. If I can go and talk to all the tribes and the tribe members, I can get them all together. The tribes didn't like the Turkish people either. Not only did they not like each other, but they didn't like the Turkish people that were taking over this port. So he started talking to the leaders of the tribe, and he said, hey, look if we could all come together, okay, and if we could march through that desert, take over this port, we could all share the riches of the port. But the problem was, these people didn't like each other. These people they all had their own goals and visions of what their world should be. But they all came together for a common goal. They came through this backside of the desert. It took them about 6 weeks to do it. And when they got here to the back of the port of this peninsula, they surprised the Turkish army and they took over the port and they all shared in the riches. So, at that particular office, we have pictures of Lawrence of Arabia all around the place. We talked about the fact that each of us inside of the office was one of the tribe members. We were going to come together as a tribe. We were going to do the certain things that we needed to do to get through the desert. And then we started marking the different points, the different milestones that we needed to hit in order to get through the desert and then take over the port. And as a company, we all rallied around that. We rallied around it and succeeded. Is that good? Yeah. So that's, as a leader, those are the things you do to motivate and bring together your masses. As a matter of fact, we even have a rally cry. At the end of every meeting that we have, we tell each other, okay, everybody turn to the person next to you, put your fingers together, move them across, and say Aguada. Because it was the port of Aguada that was being taken over. So at the end of every meeting, we'd all look at each other, and this represents all the different tribes. It represents each other. Aguada, Aguada. And everybody leave that meeting with a big smile on their face going, Aguada. It works. So create rally points in your business. Create reasons that your people want to be with you. People, listen. People will be in your business not because of the money they're making. The people will be in your business because of the changes that are being made in their lives and in the lives of others from your product or service. Does that make sense? They feel like they belong to a community. If you've been to Apartment House Riches, you hear me talk about creating a community within your apartment house complexes on a regular basis so that your people won't leave. Because when they feel like they're part of something, they won't leave. You do the same thing in your business.